Hey, welcome to the show. You know, it's not often that we do stories that would touch a heart. But in this first story you're about to see, this person is playing a guitar in a hospital? Well, yeah, exactly. But for in the waiting room? Nope. Can you ever imagine like you're a doctor and your patient has brain surgery and the patient asks you, "Hey, can I play my guitar while I'm on brain surgery?" And it's like scratching it, going, Sure. That's okay. Well, that's exactly what this man did in University of Miami. This patient you're about to meet, he played a guitar during brain surgery. Just because you have a brain doesn't mean you have brain surgery. Take a look.
Imagine strumming chords while your brain is being operated on. That's exactly what Christian Nolan did. He told CBS News what surgery while awake felt like.
It was mainly like pressure. I could feel things moving, but no pain or anything.
But why was Nolan awake on the operating table? His neurosurgeons from the University of Miami Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center explain.
The position of the tumor and it is close proximity to motor functional areas of the brain that required this particular patient to remain awake for the surgery.
One of the things Nolan was concerned about was his ability to continue playing guitar.
We performed his surgery awake so that we could be able to remove the tumor safely and be sure that we weren't harming his hand function.
Nolan was only awake for part of the 2.5-hour surgery. By doing so, doctors say they were able to remove less of his bone and limit injury to the surrounding brain tissue.
He's very disciplined, so it helps, and the family is very supportive, and he happens to be a case that we all love to have.
Though the tumor has been completely removed, doctors say Nolan will have to undergo chemotherapy. Nolan found out about the brain tumor when his brain swelled after someone stage diving at a concert fell on him. Playing guitar may have saved his life twice. For Inside Edition Digital, I'm TC Newman.
I guess music can cure your soul, but curing a brain tumor? Wow. I've been doing this show for 7 years, and I have never came across a story like this. You know, we did a story on brain surgery where one person was on brain surgery was not passed out. That was against all odds. But this really took the cake. And I never knew you could play guitar while you're in surgery. I'd imagine me playing guitar while I was in surgery. I don't know how it would be. Alright, if you're living in California, here's some great news for you. You can earn $20 per year.
There's nothing more.
How is that even possible? Take a look.
With a new law taking effect in California on April 1st, fast food workers in the state will have the highest base salary in the industry. Governor Gavin Newsom signed AB 1228, the FAST Act, back in September. It bumps the minimum wage for fast food workers from $16 an hour to $20. But that only applies if the restaurant chain has 60 or more stores nationwide. Those small businesses do not have to raise their pay rates. Some mom and pop restaurants are concerned about their employees leaving. Owner of the Burger Bar spoke to KCBS.
You end up matching the minimum wage, and you end up matching whatever you have to get good employees that you want running the show here. And then you end up just raising your own prices.
Besides small businesses, other exemptions to the pay rise include quick service restaurants that are located in airports, hotels, event centers, theme parks, and corporate cafeterias. The California Fast Food Council, one of the unions that lobbied for the FAST Act, said in a statement, "The vast majority of fast food locations in California operate under the most profitable brands in the world. Those corporations need to pay their fair share and provide their operators with the resources they need to pay their workers a living wage without cutting jobs or passing the cost to consumers." Some are concerned about jobs being cut or roles being automated. Despite the latest figures showing the fast food industry made over $331 billion in the United States, international food chains McDonald's and Chipotle have both announced they are passing the cost of higher wages onto the consumer by raising prices. For Inside Edition Digital, I'm TC Newman.
But what would help if any other state had a similar law like this? Think about it. California has that. Would Texas probably do the same thing? Well, everybody may be up in arms about what was going on, but really, it's really great. Everybody can just get more money. Where in some other states they're stuck at minimum wage, but California is getting higher wage. We're only over $1 an hour here in every state, but California doesn't need to just be the only state to have that law. There needs to be other states similar laws to this. It's not a copy and paste, but if you could give it a trial run, it could probably help. So you think what we want to do to California? Probably so. We'll have more on this FAST Act a bit later in the broadcast. But first, imagine as a homeowner that you want to do a little remodeling, but what if you found out that there wasn't a wrecking crew? It's a case of home equity fraud. Then later on, the story about Gavin DeBecker and the gift of fear from his book, Danger and Dating. Stay with us. Over 30 years ago, Hurricane Andrew swept through Louisiana. Almost over 30 years ago, Los Angeles had the worst riots. The vultures are circling, the sharks are coming. We're talking about home equity fraud. If you don't know about the home equity fraud scam, home equity, the definition of home equity is the value of the homeowner's minus the lines attached to it. The difference between the amount of owned and mortgage and the home's worth. For example, if a homeowner puts 20% down on a $4,000 home, they have $80,000 equity. But if they pay all in cash, they have 100% equity. Now, a bit later on, we're going to tell you how you can. I'm going to tell you a little bit. I'm going to tell you some tips about how to avoid this. How you can avoid this. But first, we're going to tell you a story about one person, and we're going to show you some hidden camera footage all about these scams. How do they work? And how can you very much protect yourself from stealing your home? Here's Sam Donaldson.
We are told now the National Guard is on the way. The fire reports are coming in something like 1 a minute.
The worst of it lasted for 48 hours. Arson, looting, assault. The Los Angeles riot of last April destroyed buildings, businesses, human dignity, and lives. But the misery isn't over. Services are reduced, unemployment is up, and the vultures are circling. Even while resources to rebuild remain scarce, come-on ads for easy money are everywhere.
Even with the equity we have in our home, the bank turned us down.
Now is the time. Easy financing available. 1-800-233.
This is regarding financing on your home. Give me a call on this.
Yes, there's easy money for the asking in South Central Los Angeles. All you have to be is a homeowner looking for a loan. Some of it is available from honest lenders who'll treat you right. But too often the easy money comes from dishonest lenders who will steal you blind.
I mean, this is America. Could you believe you can lose your home?
Robert Youngdahl is a deputy district attorney specializing in real estate fraud cases in Los Angeles County.
There is equity nowadays in everybody's home. You know, you can have bought the home for $15,000 or $18,000, and there's a $200,000 home now. So with this kind of equity, the sharks are in, and they're going to catch you wherever they can and however they can.
The riots may have whetted the sharks' appetite, But Youngdahl says they've been swimming in South Central Los Angeles for years. So what did this room used to be before it was a shambles like this?
This used to be my bedroom. This was my closet. Well, it was a double closet. It's a walk-in closet where the children had one side and I had one side.
Last year, 46-year-old Betty Young, mother of 7, wanted to borrow some money to do a little remodeling and consolidate 2 existing mortgages. She got more than she bargained for. A church friend recommended this man, Tim Barnett, Chief Executive Officer of Funding 21 Mortgage Corporation. Barnett, in turn, brought Mrs. Young to this man, Barry Malcolm, President of Realty 2000 Mortgage Corporation. What Betty Young didn't know was that she was about to fall victim to a home equity fraud scam. Here's how it works. Home equity is the value of your home minus what you still owe on your mortgage. In Betty Young's case, her home was worth $150,000. Before she was scammed, she owed $75,000 on 2 home loans. That left her with $75,000 in equity. And stealing it only required Mrs. Young's signature on a deed of trust, where the fine print, not the verbal promises, controls. The deed is recorded at the county recorder's office. No one there examines it. And when homeowners like Betty Young default on the loan and the mortgage holder forecloses,
Marshal, open the door. We have a court order for your eviction.
County Marshal will enforce an automatic court order for eviction. In Betty Young's case, Tim Barnett sold her on signing up with Malcolm for a $65,000 refinancing and remodeling loan. But she received only about $6,000 in cash. Some of Mrs. Young's existing indebtedness was paid off. But Malcolm took a whopping $9,750 commission from the proceeds, and Barnett took $10,000. He said to pay for remodeling work. May I just suggest to you that this wasn't a remodeling crew, this was a wrecking crew.
Well, be that as it may, this is what I had. And this is what I'm left with.
But the scam was just beginning. Why was Betty Young's home gutted? Because forcing her out of her home would make it more likely that she would default on the loan. Then Malcolm would have a claim on the house. And this, of course, was part of the wall.
Yes, that was part of the wall.
You see, today, Betty Young has to pay $1,100 a month rent to live elsewhere, on top of paying $866 a month interest on the loan. And she's trying to do that on her monthly take-home pay of about $900.
I cry at night. I cry. Because I can't do for my kids the things that need to be done. The lights and the gas, we're always running in the red. Actually, we robbed Peter to pay Paul.
We can give you a gross loan of at least $70,000.
We caught up with Barry Malcolm, the man who gave Mrs. Young the loan she can't repay and who has ripped off many others in the LA area. 6 days earlier, Malcolm had been arrested and booked on false advertising charges, accused of improperly soliciting riot relief funds from Good Samaritans. Now, out on bail, he was back to his old tricks of trying to broker home loans, despite the lack of a license as required by California law. We confronted him about his activity.
Okay, Malcolm? All right.
I'm Sam Donaldson of Primetime Live.
Can you believe it? What is this regarding?
Well, do you have a broker's license for broker loans? It's our understanding you don't have a broker's license.
How you doing?
Mr. Donaldson. Very good to see you.
Let me shake your hand.
Very good to see you. But we think you're scamming these people and taking their home equity.
I'm not scamming anyone.
We asked Malcolm about the $10,000 fee he charged Betty Young. Your company didn't get $10,000
No, our company did not get $10,000. I mean, think about what you're saying. It's a $65,000 loan. Where do you justify $10,000?
Well, that's the question I have
Do
for
you
you.
have documents?
You bet. There are documents. The mortgage loan disclosure form for Betty Young shows that Barry Malcolm's firm received a commission of $9,750, plus inflated closing fees that brought his take well over $10,000. But that wasn't the only untruth Malcolm told us. Do you know Earlene Hanna on 66th Street?
No.
You've never met her?
Who?
Earlene Hanna. She's 73 years of age. She lives on 66th Street.
No, I've never met her.
Never seen her.
No, I couldn't recall if I have.
Didn't try to broker a loan with her.
You haven't seen me trying to broker a loan with anyone.
Oh, yeah? There you see Barry Malcolm, and the woman he's talking to is Earlene Hanna, shot by our hidden cameras 1 month earlier. And what is he saying to Mrs. Hanna?
We're equity lenders, so We don't have to qualify you based on your income and your credit and things like that.
By anyone's definition, including the laws, that is attempting to broker a loan. Malcolm left us wanting to know who had caught up with him.
And what channel do you represent?
We're with Primetime Live, sir. It's on ABC. It is a horrible crime to happen to anyone, having your home stolen right out from underneath you. But here in South Central Los Angeles, victims of home equity fraud are not just anyone. According to a study prepared for the state of California, they are predominantly black, elderly women who have no other resources. Victims like the woman who lives here, 89-year-old Georgia Allen.
One of the things, they were supposed to paint all of the woodwork throughout the outside woodwork throughout the whole house. Two-story place.
I don't think this has been painted in 30 years. Bill Flanagan is the attorney for Mrs. Allen.
The other thing they did was they put texture coat on the entire place.
This pink stuff.
Yes. They did this probably about 12 months ago, and the quality of it is really, really questionable.
Look here, it is peeling off. I mean, this is what they did a year ago?
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Allen paid money for this?
$75,000.
You're Mr. Azule?
Yes.
Okay.
It was this man, Doran Azuli, of National Remodelers Incorporated, who took Georgia Allen. What Azuli did was con her into making him a joint owner of her home by telling her that was the only way she could get the loan. Then he obtained a $143,000 loan, which paid off some of Georgia Allen's debt, but also paid Azuli the unbelievable amount of $75,000 for the shoddy repair work. Now Mrs. Allen is in danger of losing her home.
There's two documents that we got from the lender. One says that Azule is her cousin. The second one says Azule is her grandson.
Is he related to her?
No, not at all. The signature that appears on there, in our opinion, is forged.
What would be the advantage to Azuli in passing himself off as her grandson?
If the two borrowers are related, there's less paperwork. That's what the lender told us. So by creating this relationship, it helped to move the loan quicker.
Georgia Allen was so ashamed of being conned by Doran Azuli that she refused even to let us have a picture of her. But Mrs. Allen need not be ashamed. For over the last 3 months, Primetime has found many victims of home equity fraud.
How can I help you this nice day today?
Our undercover cameras caught Doran Azuli as he worked his version of a home equity scam.
I also very knowledgeable about financing situation.
We made 73-year-old Earlene Hanna, whom you saw earlier, a consultant to ABC News, and asked her to inquire about painting her home. Azuli offers a price of $3,800, more than twice what experts tell us it should cost. And he offers financing.
The interest is 19.5. There is a interest. You see, if you borrow money, you need to pay interest, okay?
19.5% interest is at least twice what any major bank would charge for a home improvement loan. But listen as Azuli boldly claims it actually adds up to only 10%.
How much is that?
19.5. It's about 10% a year.
And what if our homeowner misses a payment on the loan? No problem, says Azuli.
If you miss one payment, never mind, nothing happened, you see? This is excellent for you.
Contrary to what Azuli has just said, something can happen. On the 3rd page of the contract, it clearly states that if even one payment is missed, the home could be sold. Azuli keeps that page out of sight.
3 weeks, you will see foundation, stucco, roofing complete.
Later, at another of our undercover locations, we watched Azuli fill out a form he told our homeowner consultant was merely a job order for the construction of a new garage.
What they're going to do right now, we're going to fill up the order, cash order for the work.
We copied this so-called order form and found it was actually a deed of trust that once signed would have given Azuli a claim on the house's equity. It was time to ask Doran Azuli some questions.
I'm Sam Donaldson at Primetime Live. How are you?
Okay, how are you?
We were listening to you talk to Mr. Jackson.
Yeah.
And you told him this was an order form, but it does appear to be a deed of trust, doesn't it?
It's an order form, but it say here that in case that you don't pay, you see, what we do here.
Yes, I understand, but this is a deed of trust. If he signs this form,
Okay.
you now can take possession of his house.
Not like now. It's only after I do the job and after the finance will be approved.
When Azuli spotted the cameras, his mood changed. And when we asked him about the woman he claimed as a grandmother, he ran. You know Georgia Allen? No. Well, you filed the document saying you were her grandson.
Sorry, am I a lawyer? Speak to my lawyer.
And you said you were her cousin. Are you related to Georgia Allen?
Never.
Well, we have the document. You took $75,000 from her.
Speak to my lawyer. You know everything. It's not correct.
Scammers like Barry Malcolm and Doran Azuli know that Los Angeles County law enforcement has other things on its mind than home equity fraud. As a matter of fact, both the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office and the California Department of Real Estate have done little to chase these con artists. Deputy District Attorney Robert Youngdahl's reluctance to move aggressively was evident when we asked if he would prosecute unlicensed mortgage brokers.
We certainly were referred to the proper agency.
Well, you are the proper agency,
No, we
aren't
aren't.
they?
We are not police officers.
Well, I'm going to read to you from a book which says it's the regulations of the state of California. It is the duty of the district attorney of each county in this state to prosecute all violations of this section.
That's right.
Well, it's your job.
That's exactly right.
Well, why aren't you doing it?
Well, did you ask the Department of Real Estate to bring the case over to us?
Well, we've turned over a number of cases to authorities, all, and I can't tell you specifically in Los Angeles.
Clark Wallace is the California Commissioner of Real Estate. He says his department will receive about 10,000 complaints this year. And what will happen to them?
We cannot respond as quickly as we need to respond, and of course, justice delayed is justice denied.
I mean, one less minority loses a house. I mean, who's going to care?
Carlton Jenkins is the managing director of the only black-owned bank in the state of California, Founders National Bank, located directly in south central Los Angeles. Jenkins says other banks who refuse to lend in this area are driving homeowners into the arms of the scam artists.
Would you loan money on their house?
98% of the lending that we do is in communities just like this. We have found it to be viable, profitable. I mean, I grew up in this house. I would lend money on this house tomorrow.
But not even Jenkins can help Betty Young, who's struggling to hang on. She's taken on a second job and hopes she can make some repairs before Los Angeles County moves to demolish her home on the grounds that it is now a health hazard. Incredibly, even if her home is bulldozed, Betty Young will still owe $65,000 on the home equity loan that she was conned into signing. So how do you avoid getting taken by the home equity scam artists? Rule 1, sign nothing that hasn't been explained to you by a lawyer or other professional who knows what to look for. Rule 2, remember, the sweet talk, that is, the verbal promises, almost never matters. It is not what the salesman says, but what the contract says that you have to live with. And Rule 3, if you suspect you've been taken, contact your lawyer or your legal aid society immediately. Don't wait until the marshal shows up with a court order to evict you from your own home.
By the time that happens, it's too late. You already ordered to go. It's like this. Marshal, open up. We got a warrant for your arrest. Wait. I have a contract. And it's like, nope, too late. You're out of here. Do it beforehand. If you do it before the marshals come, you're good. But if the marshals come and you're on your way to go talk to your attorney, it's already too late. Do it beforehand. And maybe then you'll know. Maybe then you can realize, hey, I've been scammed. Get your lawyer. Talk to your legal aid society. Those are the 3 rules you gotta know. All about home equity fraud. Alright, when we return, could there be danger all around? This man can tell you, and he's written a great book all about it. He speaks with Cynthia McFadden when we come back. Stay with us. Think for a moment about the last time you were in harm's way. Maybe you was walking along with your car one night, or you were being robbed. Did you trust your instincts or dismiss them? Tonight, you're going to meet a man who can tell you the early warning signs about what to look for if you're in danger. And he's written a book called The Gift of Fear. Here's Cynthia McFadden.
This happened at about 9 a.m. local time, just as some 500 people saw.
This is a culture
absolutely ruled by fear. We live in a country where all the products are made tamper-proof, where we're searched before going on airplanes. Our buildings are surrounded by concrete barricades. Everything I just said is the work of fewer than 10 men who got our attention with fear.
Immediately, a total recall of extra-strength Tylenol began.
With Tylenol poisoning. There's the shots. And the few people who have shot at presidents.
22-year-old actress Rebecca Schaefer.
And attacked television stars have changed the way we live our lives. And that is because of fear.
In what seems like a violent world, the rich, the powerful, and the famous pay for this man's advice about safety. Tonight, it's yours for the listening.
I'm an expert at predicting violent behavior, and the premise of my book and my work is that you are too. If you can imagine two coyotes find each other on one of these mountain trails, and one of them suddenly attacks the other, do you think the one who's attacked says, "Oh, geez, I had no idea that was coming"? They exchange a series of signals, and so do we. And it is my firm belief that intuition is the cornerstone, the center of people's safety.
I'd like to introduce to you Gavin de Becker. Gavin de Becker, safety advisor to 3 presidents, the Supreme Court, the CIA, and the U.S. Justice Department. And while he has represented hundreds of Hollywood's elite, including Redford, Cosby, Pfeiffer, Madonna, Turner, he says predicting violence is most important in everyday life. Consider this example.
Elevator door opens up in a building late at night, and a woman sees a man in there, and she's afraid of him. She feels a little hesitation about getting in the elevator. And what does she do? She says, "Hey, I'm not going to live like that. I'm not going to be the kind of person who lets the doors close in his face. This is silly." So she gets into the elevator. She gets into a steel, soundproof chamber with someone she's afraid of. Now, is there another animal in nature that would even consider that?
It seems like simple wisdom. Listen to your intuition. Advice, he says, is especially important for women and too often disregarded by men.
Men and women in this culture live in a different life. No question about it. Men do not understand the fear of women. And sometimes the woman will say to me that her boyfriend or husband criticizes her for her fear. And I always say, I've got a message for this man. You tell Mr. I know everything about safety that he's got nothing to contribute to your safety because your fear signal is a gift from nature, and nature doesn't need his help.
We went to his retreat in the woods, hidden away in the California mountains, and far from the violence he spends so much time combating. Far, too, from what he says is a flood of media-created fear.
To watch the local news, for example, you would believe that you're at extraordinary risk. I remember a headline on the local news where they said, "Contaminated Thanksgiving turkey kills family of 3. Could your family be next?" The answer is no. Your family can't be next. That fear is unwarranted. That fear is not valuable.
And I think, well, but maybe there's another turkey out there somewhere.
And that's anxiety. When you think things that might frighten you or hurt you, and you are not in the presence of danger, that is not fear. That's anxiety or worry. Real fear is in the presence of danger.
But so much information washes over us that sometimes we're not very good at distinguishing anxiety from real fear. Like in this setting, late at night in the parking garage, and you have that uneasy feeling. Meaningless anxiety or real fear. The doctor says you can learn the difference and it may save your life. Lessons he learned at a very young age.
This is why I stopped shopping on Amazon, and you should too. Don't spend another dime on Amazon.
My mother was a heroin addict and was violent, and she had a lot of drama around her. Of course, we kids, my 2 sisters and I, were brought into that a lot. And I saw her shoot my stepfather. I remember one house we lived in that by the time we left, there were 9 bullets embedded in the walls and floors of that house.
As a 10-year-old boy, he learned that his intuition and his fear would help him read dangerous situations and survive. What were the lessons?
Some of the lessons are that if you don't control the world, things will go crazy and things will be bad. Somewhere there is a child in America learning that when it comes to cruelty, it's better to give than to receive. And there are children learning that violence is the way to communicate. And those are all lessons that I learned as a kid and had to unlearn as an adult.
A man who now, after more than 20 years of studying violence, teaches others what he calls a 10-year-old boy's lessons about fear by starting with intuition.
Now, because I'm talking about intuition, I want to show you something about how it works. I'm going to put up some word puzzles on the screen here. And they're called intuitive word puzzles because people often get them without even knowing why they got them. Here's the first one. If somebody gets it, just call it out. This one is rate increase. It is rate increase. Here's another one. Tennis anyone is correct. Tennis-anyone.
These puzzles are designed to show that our brains work intuitively, even though we're not always aware of it. Rebecca thinks practice can help us develop a sensitivity that we're often taught to ignore.
The whole premise of my work is to get people to figure out how they communicate with themselves, to know the difference between the worry, the anxiety, and the hesitation, and the real fear. The real fear is one of the signals from intuition that you always must listen to. That's one you don't debate with. You just act on it.
How do you know this?
Because, Cynthia, for 20 years, I've been asking people who were victimized in some criminal way, who did experience violence. I asked them, could you have seen this coming? And invariably people say to me, no, it came out of nowhere. And then if I'm quiet, if I take a breath, here comes all this information.
Here's a story that happens to me all the time. A couple will make an appointment with me to talk about some death threat they're receiving over the phone, over their answering machine. And they know it's somebody they know because the caller knows their daughter's name. And they'll go through this process of working out who the suspects might be. And invariably the woman will say, you know, there is one more person it could be. But I'm uncomfortable even bringing it up because I really don't have a good reason. And I could send my bill and send them home because that is who it will be. They come to me to solve the mystery. But all I do is refuse to call it a mystery.
Maybe what people are most fearful of is sort of random, senseless violence.
I always get a kick out of that. On the news they say a senseless act, a random and senseless act. And as long as we call them senseless, we won't make sense out of them. 20% of the homicides in America are from people we don't know. 80% are from people we do know. So why are we focusing so much on that 20% and don't look at family violence, violence against children, homicides from coworkers, things that actually are easily preventable?
Preventing violence is the focus of Gavin DeBecker's company, and for the first time, DeBecker allowed outsiders into his secret California headquarters.
You did a genuine background investigation?
Each week, his staff monitors about 300 cases like this one. 15 of them rated R3, potentially deadly.
He wrapped a shotgun into the phone?
Yes.
Without any words?
Without any words.
That's called symbolic violence. The man who tears his wife's wedding dress up, or mars the photo, or he breaks things that matter to her.
These files contain hundreds of thousands of threatening letters sent to DeBecker's clients. With the details of these cases and thousands of others, he has designed a computer program, currently being used by law enforcement in Los Angeles, to evaluate which threats are most likely to escalate into deadly violence, a form of artificial intuition he calls mosaic.
So if you were the battered woman and I was the detective, I'd ask you a series of questions like, did your husband witness violence as a child? And if you knew, you'd answer. Does he decide what you wear, where you go, the keys to the car?
Detective Ron Marquez with the LA Sheriff's Department has been using Mosaic for 8 months, and he says it works.
It gives the victim a wake-up call. It produces a written report that they review, and when they see that, it seems to eliminate, in their mind, the problem that they're facing.
What we're doing now is taking the strategies that are used to protect our highest government officials and bringing them to regular people. And of course, regular citizens need them more, because public officials are attacked very rarely. Women are killed every 2 hours by a husband or boyfriend.
A statistic DeBecker says can be changed by learning to listen to our survival signal, using the gift of fear. Consider the man and the shark.
I interviewed a guy who was attacked by a shark. And he is moving through the water faster than he's ever moved, he tells me. And suddenly he looks down and he sees that's because he's being pulled by a great white shark through the water. And without any hesitation, he immediately starts to caress the shark's head, find the eyes, and put his thumbs into the only soft tissue he finds, and the shark lets go of him. He did something on the basis of fear that I could never convince you to do on the basis of worry. And real fear, like what I just described, that is a survival signal. That's a gift.
And it is a gift that we can all find in ourselves. All right, next time we're gonna look at the gift of fear. We are gonna look into a gunman who tries to shoot at you, and all about wondering, do I want to ask this person out, or this person asked me out, do I want to accept it, or should I not? That's next time. Coming up next, the FAST Act. Earlier we showed you a clip all about the FAST Act, how California is increasing fast food workers' pay by $20 an hour. Coming up next, what is the FAST Act and how will it affect California? Stay with us. Actually, before we go, here's a preview of next time's Gift of Fear.
A gunman opens fire in a large office building. Was it a random act of violence or the deadly end of one man's obsession? His life. The killer had been stalking this woman for years. While she miraculously survived the shooting spree, 7 of her co-workers were killed. Could this happen to you?
Men who cannot let go choose women who cannot say no.
Tonight, Gavin DeBecker tells Cynthia McFadden how to recognize someone who is dangerous before it's too late.
Persistence doesn't prove love. Persistence doesn't mean you're great. It means he's troubled.
And they're troubled. That's next time. Stay with us. Welcome back. Earlier in the broadcast, we showed you an Inside Edition video clip all about how California is passing a bill which is going to take effect April 1st, the day after Easter. It's called the Fast Recovery Act. It stands for the Fast Food Accountability and Standards, a law in the state of California which brings multiple reforms to the state's fast food industry. The bill provisions aim to allow workers in California to hold fast food chains responsible for issues like wage theft and overtime pay, and establish a council which itself shall be responsible for establishing minimum standards for fast food workers. The regulations to apply any chain in California that has at least 100 stores nationwide share a common brand. The bill has since been passed with the Assembly and State Senate and was signed by the governor on September 5th, 2022. Now, April 1st is when it's going to take into effect. That's AB 1228. But let's look at more of this law. That's Chapter 622 of the Assembly Bill. Before we go into that, it's the votes. The history of it was talked about statutes of September 2023. It's the legislature, the fact. So, reading the law is the existing law which is suspended in pursuant to referendum petition established until January 1st, 2029. The Fast Food Council. This is just a law. The whole text of this, I'm not going to read any of this. But each section, I'm going to read to you one section. Section 1 is going to be all about Section 1, it is the intent of the legislature to repeal sections 1470 and 1471 Labor Code. National fast food chain, this is just all about the fast food restaurants. Not include establishment that on September 15, 2023 operates bakery produces. I mean, basically all this is is just section. All is just in one section. And it can mean that people can rate, that everyone can get their share of their raises if they probably play fair. So I didn't want to go over this a lot, but now we probably know. All right. Think about your first job as a teenager.
You have gotten a good.
Did you ever babysat when you were a teenager? As your first job? Well, is it a thing of the past? You're about to find out what happens. Because let me tell you, over the years, a lot of parents have relied on teenage babysitters to like their kids, but now a new generation of families are looking for older, more expected applicants with some surprising job requirements. What are those job requirements, and what can you do as a parent next time you want to hire a babysitter? Here's Christine Womans.
Babysitter's Club. Babysitter's Club. Hi, Mr. Lasky. Hello. Wednesday night, 6 to 9:30? Sure.
For decades, babysitting has been a rite of passage for so many teenagers.
Margie, how old are you? 4.5. You're on a 4.5-minute timeout.
Parents relying on young sitters before a much-needed night out.
Take good care of my baby.
And for teens, a chance, even for a bit, at real-life adulting, including earning some cold hard cash.
My mom is paying you good money to watch me.
But these days, high schoolers may no longer fit the bill.
Look at what I found. Babysitter needed ASAP. Must be over 25 years old. Minimum education, master's degree.
Olivia Heinbaugh is a former teen babysitter who's now a mom to 3.
You were a teenage babysitter, but you mostly don't hire teenage babysitters. Why?
Because I really want my children to feel comfortable, and for my own self to feel comfortable knowing that they're left with competent, capable, very experienced people. And often those people are family members or very close family friends.
Parenting journalist Donna Tatro says for both parents and teens, times have changed.
This generation of parents is really in tune. Parents want their kids to be playing with somebody that there is taking care of them. If you're in a household with teenagers right now, you know that they're not really present because they're either on their phone or they're dealing with that academic achievement pressure.
While there is no universal starting age for a sitter, popular website Care.com only accepts candidates 18 and older. The gig can still be lucrative, with average pay nearing $19.50 an hour. And according to recent data from Nextdoor, which allows users to search for sitters in their neighborhood, the majority of babysitting posts from parents were about very young children, between ages 2 to 5.
I feel like adults are more likely to trust and reach out to older babysitters than they are younger ones. They feel like it's safer for their child.
20-year-old University of Hartford student Laura Martin has been babysitting since she was 13. With her growing list of skills, she says she finds more parents reaching out to her now than ever before.
When I was younger, obviously I had a lot more restrictions. Like I couldn't drive. Now that I can drive, we can go and explore the towns or do whatever they might want to do. It gives me a little more freedom.
16-year-old high school sophomore Ellie Hughes also has been babysitting since she was 13.
Parents will hire me if their kids are just like napping or asleep, and that can give me time to like do my homework.
Despite her young age, she finds time to take care of her neighbors' kids, some as young as 2, in between school and her busy lacrosse schedule.
What I like most about babysitting is connecting with the kids. A lot of families kind of see me as like an older sister to their kids.
As for what she does with the $15 to $20 she makes an hour,
the cash that I get, normally all the cash I save.
Proof that the reliable young sitter down the street still exists.
Although fact check, her mom says she does spend some of it at Starbucks. She also tells us she completed CPR and first aid training with the Red Cross. That actually offers certification for babysitting for anyone over 11. And of course, it helps score extra points with parents. And then Donna, who was in that piece, she says she doesn't see teenage sitters going away for good, but she points out it's really important for parents Just set up expectations. Tell the teenager exactly what you expect. You know, what you want the evening
You will
to
not
look
be
like.
driving my child anywhere tonight.
Or inviting your friends over, or anything like that.
Or eating all the snacks,
Yeah.
which is what I used to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. But you know what? I do use a young babysitter if I'm home, but you know the kids always want you to be there. You're the one who has to play hide and seek or life or whatever. Sometimes I'll have the teenagers just come and like entertain them so I can just have a moment of peace. Yeah. But I'm home.
I started this piece thinking this was about overscheduled teenagers, and I ended this piece thinking this is about parents who are a little different than our generation of parents. You know, getting a kid down the street to watch your kids
I
for
wish
4 or
they
5
looked at the
hours.
senior community as a bigger option. We did that when we were away. For younger kids especially, when it's just kind of sitting there and watching them, we were in Ireland and the hotel hooked us up. It was Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, that's
the sweetest lady.
What a great
And
idea.
she needed, because she wanted the companionship, and then she ended up writing us this beautiful letter. I mean, that's another great thing in your community maybe to look into.
That's
Yeah,
good.
great idea.
I love that.
All right, Christine, thank you so
Nice to
much.
see you guys. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every week.
Right. There's really no need to hire a babysitter. I mean, if you want to hire a babysitter, shut up.
Babysitters Club.
If you want to hire a babysitter at 13, does not get lights out. There doesn't need to be an age requirement to just babysit. I mean, in the teenage years, okay. 18 under, okay. A 13-year-old could babysit a 5-year-old. An 18-year-old could babysit a 6-year-old. Hell, even a 27-year-old like myself could babysit a 10-year-old. But I'm not going to be walking him around the neighborhood. Hell, if you guys if you gotta hire me to babysit your child, here's my here's what you need to know about me. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I hate tattoos, I hate truancy. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't take drugs. Hell, you can drug test me, make me pee in a cup. You can drug test me, you make me pee in a cup, my drug test will come out free. I'm clean, I'm as clean as a whistle, baby. And let me tell you, I would not do drugs in front of a child. That is a definite no-no. Even to you babysitters out there, don't you ever take no drugs in front of a child. And don't you ever drink. Don't you ever sneak no babysitter. So what is the right age to babysit? Well, experts recommend the teenage years. What is the right age? To sit on your baby. The right age, like experts say, there's no right age, but there is no hard or fast rule to show the right age to babysit. Many experts believe the children should be at least 12 or 13 years old. Some children are mature enough to babysit as little as the age of 12 or 13, while others are better off waiting until they're older teenagers. When considering this, your child needs to be ready to babysit. Look for the following qualifications: responsibility, maturity, ability to make good decisions, ability to follow the rules, comfort, handling, authority without abusing it, and the ability to calmly handle emergency or any problems that arise. If you have these 6 abilities, if you can master those 6 abilities by 12 or 13, you may be qualified to babysit. In my case, I have responsibility, I'm mature, I can make a great decision, I can sometimes bend the rules and think about, or I play by the rules. I can bend a couple or just break a few. Comfort, handling authority without abusing it. Well, I do have a very firm and strong voice. Go to your room. And the ability to calmly handle emergency or any other problems that arise. Oh my God, there's a spill. Don't worry, I'll clean it up. Boom, boom. I don't know why there's barbecue sauce in my hand. Oh, sorry. The thing we have to understand with babysitters, this is just basic common sense analogy, and we're going to throw in some common sense for you right now. Never cuss in front of the baby, in front of a child. Never drink in front of a child, never smoke in front of the child. If you are going to babysit, do not be on your phone. If you do not know CPR, you're not qualified to babysit. Parents, if you're going to hire a babysitter, set them up with an interview. Plan it. because summer's coming up. It's the last day of school, and I recommend that you need to be ready to hire a babysitter. The right age is 12 to 13. You've got 12 to 13 year olds to work that want summer jobs, then have them babysit at 12 to 13. That way they know maturity and responsibility. Look for the 6 factors. Those 6 factors could really be helping out a 12 or 13 year old. If you decide to say, well, I'm not going to have a 12 or 13 year old babysit, I'm going to wait till they're 18. That's fine. That's okay. I respect every decision that you make. Find a babysitter in your local community. That way they can be helpful. You want to pay them like $19.50 an hour? That's up to you. Like you can walk. I mean, someone say you can like walk dogs for like $5. Like walk a lot of dogs to make $250,000. Or to babysit. You have to do a lot of babysitting before you can make that $250,000 an hour. $250,000. That's how much it costs to raise a baby from birth to 18. Really, the moral compass here is this. If you're going to babysit, you have those 7 requirements. You need to know CPR. And speaking of which, moving on to the babysitters, when we return, a viral book that you won't miss, The Cool Babysitter. Stay with us. Now they focus on teenage babysitting and adult babysitting. The third type of babysitter is the cool babysitter. Now, imagine this case scenario. You're thinking about babysitting, but then you want to get on the cool groove. And then you try to set up rules like no sugar, no nothing at all. But then you want to be the cool babysitter, and then your parents tell them, hey, he doesn't need to play video games, this and that. It's the chill babysitter. So really, how can a chill babysitter be part of the play here? Tonight's Viral Break is going to be all about that chill babysitter from Joe Rath. Let's take a look.
Bedtime 8 p.m., no candy, no video games. I got you. All right, guys, take it easy. Have a great time. They're in good hands. You guys ready to have some fun? Man, these are good. Jake, don't yell at Sour Patch Kids, bro. Give me a guys. Really? They hid your PS4? Oh, man. Too bad I brought a PS5. Oh, buckets. Ah, Jake, you're trash, bro. Give it to your brother. I'll cook him, too. Well, guys, looks like it's past 8 p.m. Come on, let's go to Target. Kyle, what's up, dog? Jake, what flavor do you want? Cookie dough? Yeah, that's fine. What's up? Bro, I said bring the girls over. Yes, I have the place to myself. Ladies! Jake, Josh, these are the ladies right here. What, Jake? You think the blonde is hot? Hey, Kenzie! Jake thinks you're hot! Ah, look at him blushes! Look at him blushes! The next morning! I got it. Hey, Mr. Peterman, we had a great time last night. Yeah, went to bed early, no candy, no video games, right, boys? Yeah.
Yeah, right. That smile. Let's rewatch this one more time, because there are some key factors in this video. Also, remember, Viral Break is just not all about being these funny videos. It's also right for education. I'm educating parents tonight. So let's rewatch the video one more time to look for some key factors that you as a parent might want to consider. As I bring you up close. Ooh, I got you a little rocky there. My bad. Can you see it? Right. Let's rewatch it one more time.
Yep, bedtime 8 p.m., no candy, no video games. I got you. All right, guys, take it easy. Have a great time. They're in good hands. You guys ready to have some fun? Man, these are good. Jake, don't yell at Sour Patch Kids, bro. Give me a guys. Really? They hid your PS4? Oh, man. Too bad I brought a PS5. Oh, buckets. Ah, Jake, you're trash, bro. Give it to your brother. I'll cook him, too. Well, guys, looks like it's past 8 p.m. Come on, let's go to Target. Kyle, what's up, dog? Jake, what flavor do you want? Cookie dough? Yeah, that's fine. What's up? Bro, I said bring the girls over. Yes, I have the place to myself. Ladies! Jake, Josh, these are the ladies right here. What, Jake? You think the blonde is hot? Hey, Kenzie! Jake thinks you're hot! Ah, look at the blushes! Look at the blushes! The next morning! I got it. Hey, Mr. Peterman. We had a great time last night. Yeah, went to bed early. No candy, no video games. Right, boys? Yeah.
That's a lie. If you spot a lying babysitter, that's a red flag. If you are going to set rules with the babysitter here, meaning like no video games, no candy, no staying up past 10, this and this, hire a babysitter. Just make sure you have a babysitter. Do a trial run. If you do a trial run, then maybe then. Maybe then you can realize that, oh, this guy's right. I can do a trial run. If it doesn't work, then... I mean, think about it. Remember the episode Everybody Hates Chris, where Chris is the only one that has to babysit? Well, they had the idea, oh, why don't we just hire a babysitter? Okay, and then that person had something wrong. I would show you a clip. But then the video would get blocked, and I'd be demonetized. So I'm going to describe the clip. There's a woman who was a babysitter, and she bought the baby. I mean, she's doing two babysitters. She's babysitting the baby and the babysitting the baby. Then the father comes around, this and this and this. And then towards the end, Chris tells the whole truth. Now, in this video clip we just saw, did he tell the truth? Nope. He flat out lied. But then the kid would be... That one kid would squeal, being like, we didn't have a good time. He brought his friends over. They had a party. We went to Target. It was past 8 p.m. We were supposed to... He brought a PS5, blah, 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 blah. And the reaction would be like, I'm going to kick her ass. Well, give my money back. I told you to let Jake babysit. Well, give him my money. Boy, you better give him my money back. Two last man on ice cream. Ice cream? Well, give me that ice cream. I want my money back, boy. You better give me back my money. I'll whoop your ass. The thing I can understand here, babysitters need clear set rules. No phones. Do not have electronic devices. No babysitter should have electronic devices. If you're going to babysit, you need to keep an eye on that baby 24/7. Don't wait. And another thing, go close to y'all. No parties. No parties. Y'all hear me out there? No parties. No parties. No friends over. No girls over. No parties. No parties at all. If you're going to babysit, no parties. No parties at all. Don't sit there and say, oh, I have the house to myself, but I got kids here. Don't even think about throwing a party. Like, yeah, I'm going to make a party while I'm babysitting. It's not funny. This is the real deal. Don't be hiring a babysitter that could throw a bomb-ass party while you're gone. Because they find out the house smells reeks of alcohol, they're going to want to know there was the child. The child can come out with the truth saying it was Joe who drank the alcohol. He brought strangers over, which he should have done. As parents, if that ever happens, you've got to put your foot down. I'd recommend you a 3-strike rule for this. After 3 strikes, it's like these write-ups. At jobs, you have the write-up system. 3 strikes, you're out of here. I mean, I would imagine babysitting somebody. How hard could it be? Really tough. I would not be the chill babysitter. I mean, now that I'm an uncle, I could be a babysitter. Well, not really though. I mean, I could cut my days from playing music, but who knows? At least I can find a way. Even from even a CV musical, but I'd be demonetized for that. All right, we were gonna have a story about the victims of Sammy the Bull. We're gonna have that for you on Monday. Also, part one of the man who brought down John Gotti, him himself is Sammy the Bull. It's gonna be a 2-parter on Monday and Wednesday. actually, this week all this week we're focusing on Sammy the Bull Gravano. So it's gonna happen Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. More on Sammy the Bull Gravano. More than interviews. So we're gonna have the victims on Monday, along with part 1 of Sammy the Bull. Then part 2 and 3. The final part's gonna be on next Saturday. So that's all next week. That's Give Me a Break for this Saturday going to Sunday. We'll see you for a special Give Me a Break Monday. Special week of Give Me a Break. All about Sammy the Bull. For everyone here at YouTube, have a happy Easter. Good night.